The cold wind howled through the rusted branches of Maplewood Lane as Emma Reeves stepped out of her rusty blue sedan, pulling her coat tighter around her. The streetlight above her flickered like a dying firefly. It was 6:47 p.m. on a Saturday, a night like any other, but it didn't feel that way. The Kavanaugh's house stood at the end of the cul-de-sac, tall and a little too quiet. 2 stories, ivy crawling up the brick facade like veins. Emma had babysat for them before maybe 4 or 5 times over the past few months, but something about tonight felt off. Maybe it was the unusually long shift they'd requested. Maybe it was the fact that it was raining hard earlier, and now the air hung heavy and still, as if the storm had held its breath. She rang the doorbell, and after a few seconds, Laura Kavanaugh opened the door with a warm but hurried smile. "Emma, thank God you're here." "We're running late," Laura said, grabbing her clutch from the entryway table. "Ben's upstairs, his dinner's ready, and he's already in his pajamas. Should be easy tonight." Emma smiled, brushing a wet strand of hair behind her ear. "No problem. You and Mark have fun." Lavra hesitated for a moment, then leaned closer. "If Ben says anything strange, just humor him, okay?" Emma blinked. "Strange how?" Lavra forced a small laugh. "You know kids, imaginary friends and all that. It's been a weird week." Before Emma could ask more, Mark called out from the driveway, "Lavra, we're gonna be late." Lavra gave Emma a quick nod, then disappeared into the rainy night. Emma stepped inside, the heavy wooden door clicking shut behind her. The house was warm but dim. Most of the lights were off except for the kitchen and the hallway upstairs. The grandfather clock in the living room ticked steadily. She slipped off her shoes, dropped her bag near the coat rack, and made her way up to find Ben. "Ben, it's Emma," she called gently. She found him in his room, sitting on the floor with his toys. The small boy looked up and smiled. "Hi, Emma." "Hey, buddy, your mom said you already had dinner?" He nodded. Emma sat down beside him, watching as he moved 2 small action figures across the carpet. One had a cape. The other was missing an arm. "What you're playing?" "Just saving the house," he said simply. Emma raised a brow. "Saving it from what?" Ben paused. "The man in the walls." Emma froze for a second, then laughed nervously. "Oh, yeah. What does he look like?" Ben looked at her seriously. "He's long and quiet. Sometimes he crawls." Emma kept her voice light. "Well, he better not come out while I'm here." "I know karate." Ben giggled. But then his eyes shifted to the wall behind her just for a split second, and his smile faded. Emma turned to look. Nothing there. Sarah stood frozen in the hallway, heart pounding in her ears, eyes still locked on the last photo displayed on her phone. Ella standing in the same hallway just seconds ago, staring up at the camera with wide, unblinking eyes. Her pajama sleeve was torn. A red smudge marked her cheek, but Ella was asleep. She was asleep. Sarah had checked the bedroom herself. She had just checked. She forced herself to breathe, but it came out as a shaky gasp. Her thumb hovered over the photo, hesitant to swipe again, afraid of what might come next. When she finally dared to, the next image appeared, the back of Sarah's own head. It was her. Taken from no more than 2 feet behind her. She dropped the phone. It hit the floor with a soft clack, the screen still glowing. For a moment, the house felt as if it had exhaled, like it had been holding its breath along with her. Every shadow seemed to tremble. No more pretending, no more rationalizing. Something was inside the house. Sarah didn't even bother with the lights now. She turned and sprinted to the child's room, heart hammering in rhythm with her footsteps. The door was half closed just as she left it. She shoved it open. Ella was still in bed, sleeping. Peacefully, breathing slowly. No smudges, no torn clothes. Sarah staggered back, mind screaming. That picture, was it a trick? An old photo? Had she imagined the smudge? But then her phone buzzed again. One new image. With trembling hands, she picked up her phone and opened it. This time, the image was of the living room, and in the center of the shot, seated calmly on the sofa, was Sarah, except she wasn't moving. Her face looked slack, lifeless, as if someone had posed a wax dummy to look like her. The timestamp showed it had been taken just 3 minutes ago. No, she whispered aloud. Her voice sounded hollow in the quiet room. This isn't possible. A creak came from the floor below. Not a random sound, not the kind of groan an old house made in the night. This was deliberate. A weight dot a step, something someone was moving downstairs. She ran to the closet, pulling out Ella's emergency backpack. She remembered Rachel had mentioned it. It had snacks, a flashlight, a toy, and a spare phone. She grabbed Ella from her bed, whispering in her ear, trying to wake her. Ella stirred, groggy but compliant. What's going on? We're going on an adventure, Sarah whispered, her voice too brittle to sound convincing. Why now? I need you to trust me, sweetheart. Okay, just trust me. Ella looked up, blinking in the darkness. You're scared. Sarah managed a tight smile. I'm just being careful. They made it halfway down the stairs when the front door creaked open by itself, just a few inches. The cold night air slipped inside, and something else was waiting there. A figure, motionless, drenched in shadow. Sarah backed up slowly, holding Ella tight. Then the figure stepped back, not forward. And the door shut. All by itself.